I always hate starting in transitions. When I'm talking, I'm fine, but starting in transitions. Hi, Haley Brunner here with Real Estate and Auction Company. This is the Haley Brunner Show. Today we are going to go over my top tips for listing homes or trying to sell your home. Now, these are things that you should do in preparation, not necessarily during the selling process. So, before we dig into everything, I would appreciate it so much if you would take a second and just hit that subscribe button below. If you hit the bell and go ahead and give it a ring, that'll also have you notified every time that I post a new video, which I tend to do every Thursday, and allow you to be one of the first to see it. If you really do enjoy this video or just want to give me some love, I would appreciate if you hit the thumbs up button right below. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that you need to do when listing your home is start with a change of mindset. What I want you to do is start by thinking like a buyer. We've lived in our houses for such a long time. We have memories and things we hold dear. And sometimes we get in our own head when we go to list our house thinking that everybody's going to love it as much as we are. Oh, they won't mind that. And that's because you've been there for so long. There was a reason it happened, an event, somebody did something silly and then hit the wall. Now that might be funny for you, but for somebody else coming in new, they might see that as a blemish. So that's the first thing that I want you to do. Step 2, which is actually a really easy thing before you list your home, is to change all of your light bulbs. Now, this seems a little silly, but if you've ever gone into a room and all of a sudden it's just bright and warm, probably one of the reasons is because the lighting is more of that warm white, almost like a yellow tone to it. And let me check my notes here, somewhere in between 2,700 and 3,000 kilowatts. That's going to be about the perfect lighting for your home. And again, you notice I said that it feels warm. When you have a potential buyer coming into the house, you want them to have that cozy, homey feeling, and having the same color light throughout the home can do that. Again, it just entices them more and really makes them visualize themselves in a cozy, homey spot. Again, now you heard me say about 2,700 to 3,000 kilowatts, and that's going to be that warm white color rather than that bright white, almost blue tone, because what can happen is if you have those in your house, it can almost make the rooms feel very cold. And again, that's not the feeling that we want those buyers to experience when they walk into, say, your bedroom. You know, that's going to be a very intimate space, and that you really want it to feel cozy. I'd highly recommend for energy efficiency doing LED bulbs, and then switch the whole house if at all possible to those. If you can't switch to the warm white, try to make it the same color light throughout the house. At least then it would be a cohesive feel. But if you can try towards those warmer tones, that would be ideal for our buyers. The third thing that I want you to do when you're listing your house is go ahead and take the time to declutter and minimalize your spaces. For instance, in the bathroom, if you've got a soap dispenser and maybe some toothbrushes on there that you normally leave, maybe some makeup, go ahead and take those off, put them in drawers nicely underneath the cabinet. The less clutter on countertops and open spaces, the better. It gives the buyer the chance to visualize their things and their decorations in those rooms without it feeling claustrophobic because you have so much space and space covered up already. So go ahead and declutter, and really this helps you pre-pack too. It saves you some time because eventually we're going to be packing all of your things to sell the home and get you moving on to the next place. So not only does this help the buyer, but this helps you. And it brings me to my fourth point, and that is to take all of your personal photos out of your home. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have them normally, but while you're showing the house, the less of your family that the buyer can see, the better. And the reason is that they want to be able to visualize them and their family in the home. And if they see pictures of your kids, your nieces, your nephews, it makes it really hard for them to connect with the house and see how they would fit in those spaces. So take the time, all you have to do is just swap the pictures or put another one in front of it temporarily. So that way, when you move, all you have to do is take the old one out and you're good to go. So pictures are okay, normal pictures, drawings, illustrations, stuff like that. But anything with your family in it, I would just suggest taking those down for a while until we sell your house. The next thing that you need to do when you're listing your home is take the time to actually meet with a real estate agent. The reason I say you need to take the time to meet with a real estate agent is because they have taken the time to study marketing and negotiations and listing prices, and they really understand the market, and that can help you to know how to price your house right. And honestly, you can do a lot of things to improve the home, but that's really one of the biggest things that can sell your house is getting it priced right. And I have a couple visuals to show you to help understand what can happen if we don't price it right. The higher we have the home priced over market value, the less people that are going to be able to look at that house. And the lower that we price the house, the more opportunities we're going to have to sell it. Now, if you notice that we don't necessarily want all available buyers, because we still want to get a good price for the home, because reasonably it should be up a little higher. But part of the problem is if we start listing the house over market value, it creates what's called the fear of making a mistake. And that's really hard for buyers, because if they see your house, that's the first thing they look at is square footage and then what's the price. And if it's priced out of their budget or just at the top of their budget and their agent says, I don't know guys, this might not be worth as much as they say it is, then it makes them really hesitant, and they might put an offer in, and if you deny that offer, they're just going to be done because they're like, nope, I'm too scared. But if we're strategic and we price it at market value or even just a little below, what can happen is what we call the fear of missing out. And that's really what we want, because the fear of missing out says, oh, that's a great deal, I really want that. And then you get into bidding wars, which gets you more money. And a lot of times we see houses go for above market value, even though we listed it under. So take the time to listen to your real estate agent. Each house is going to be different. And honestly, every time you list it, depending on the market, you could have a different situation as well. So take the time to talk it over with your realtor and have them give you the pros and cons of listing it at one price or the other. The final thing that you should do before listing your house, and a lot of times the most fun thing to do, is to step up your curb appeal. Now, if you think about it, the first impression for buyers is not when they take that first step into the door. The first impression is actually when they pull up in their car to your house. So we want to have the outside looking just as pristine and nice as the inside. Now, I know sometimes it can get a little expensive, so we're going to go over a couple options from fairly cheap to sometimes a little more expensive. So the first thing that you can do, if you can just put a fresh coat of paint on the front door, that gives you that nice shiny moment and that homey feel when you walk in, that it's new, it's exciting for them. Again, as buyers, we have to get in their head, and that can be a really good first impression, just to have that door open to a nice clean home. The next thing that I'd also suggest is giving the trim a fresh coat of paint. It'll clean up some lines. Even if you can't do the whole house, it at least gives that pop of bright new color. And again, impressions are everything with buyers. If you want to take that a step further, go ahead and just paint the outside of the home. Even a new color, something to stand out, especially if buyers have seen the house before. If it's painted a new color, that's really going to kind of excite them because it's new and different than what they're used to. If painting is not possible for you, look into possibly power washing. That can sometimes range from anywhere from $100 to $600, even more possibly. But if you just power wash the outside of the house, that's going to clean things up. And and get some of that grime off that, you know, from years of dirt and wind can sometimes build. And if you're going to power wash the house, the other thing I'd recommend is doing like your driveway and your fencing. That can really make your home stand out, and decks as well. I'd say maybe power wash, stain it, and it'll give your whole house a brand new feel before they even walk into the front door. So there's just some cosmetic things that can really help with that first impression from the buyer. And ultimately, that's going to make them fall in love with your home, buy your home, sell your home, and get you on to your next step. Those are my top tips for things you should do before you list your home. If there's anything I'm missing that you think should have been in my top list, go ahead and comment those below. Your suggestions might just end up in my next video. Also, if you are interested in learning more about the selling process, I do have a free guide. I call it the Ultimate Seller's Guide, and I have a link to that in my description below. If you click that, it'll take you to a page where you can get the free download, and that's just my gift to you. No purchase or anything necessary. I just like to try to help others and guide them along their way. Until next time, everyone, I'm Haley Brunner with Real Estate and Auction Company. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.